Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
And I'm Melanie.
And I'm her boyfriend, Jerry.
And you are listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends and Jerry, where we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values. Okay, you guys, as you can tell, we have a special guest with us, Melanie's boyfriend, Jerry. Yay, Jerry, welcome to the show.
Hello,
Studio
yes.
audience, clapping. Just joking, we don't have a studio audience yet. Okay, so today we have a lot of topics to get into, and we are going to try to be concise. We're going to do better. So first thing we're going to do, though, is talk about our week. Let's everybody give their high, low, and God moments. Mel, you go first.
Alrighty, so my low for this week would be having to read an article for one of my classes about the white savior complex and how that intertwines with mission/humanitarian trips.
Very relevant.
I did not enjoy having to read that as part of academia. And
we will be discussing it today.
Yes. And my high for this week would have to be going roller skating with my neighbor and Jerry. That was fun because I feel like I haven't been in my local rink that I really like to skate at in a few months. So it was great getting to go back there and practice some skills that I've been working on. I love roller skating. And my God moment, well, I enjoyed going to liturgy with Jerry on Sunday, but
now explain liturgy for the Protestants, please.
Oh, just church. Yeah, it's so we're Eastern Catholic, so our liturgy isn't called a mass. It's different from the mass, and it's all 100% equally Catholic. It's just a different celebration for a Sunday service. So our service is called a divine liturgy. It's not called a mass. So so I call it liturgy. I mean, the mass itself is also a liturgy. So I enjoyed that. And another God moment would have to be going to therapy Tuesday morning. I just had a really good session, and I have a pretty drive because it's out in a country town because I see a Catholic therapist. So it was just a nice drive, and it's always nice just speaking with a clinical professional and then just having a nice drive through the country to reflect and pray. So that was my God moment.
Nice.
All right, Jer.
Oh, my turn. Okay, absolutely. Yeah. Well, I just want to say that first off, I think that this is a great way to kind of end the week, especially after a work week. But, if you can't do this daily of, self-reflecting, like highs, lows, and God moment, definitely on a weekly basis, I feel like we need to adopt that. So I'm going to start off with my low. We're going to climb the mountain. My low moment was definitely probably just the stress that I've accumulated over the past couple of weeks leading up to our traveling. So I'm participating in shameless plug here, Mallory. I'm sorry. I'm participating in a 50-mile bike ride. We're going to be missionaries biking for babies. So I've just been stressed at all the logistics on that, buying stuff on Amazon for my bike, packing it. So that was definitely a low of just me feeling overwhelmed and stressed.
Is there a link we can support you with?
Yes, absolutely. So I will
make sure
send that to you.
Yeah, we'll put it in the description and everything.
And I'll put the link to follow our ride on social media. And she's going to be driving the van behind us. So hopefully she'll get some good shots. But yeah, no, so what that is, it promotes and helps fundraise to raise awareness and support pregnancy resource centers across the nation.
That's really good.
We're very excited. Yeah. My high moment probably actually happened today. I attended a men's conference, and just the amount of people that were, so willing to come up to our table for my work and just talk with us on the, pro-life issue and giving them updates and making good connections. So that was definitely a high moment. And a God moment was was all today. I was
wow, you
on
had
my
a good
drive.
Saturday.
Yeah, on my drive. It's a Saturday. Okay.
Yeah.
On my drive back to San Antonio, had in my panic moment, I said, "Oh my gosh, I haven't even contacted the person that's supposed to pick us up from the airport, or I didn't know who was going to pick us up from the airport." So I'm reaching out to her support person, her other support crew, saying like, "Hey, I never got the number," and they said, "Oh, well, here you go." And as soon as I was about to call, I got a call from one of I guess his name was Father Pat. And he's saying, "Hey, that person hasn't heard from you. You gonna reach out?" And I said, "I was just about to call." So I said that was a God moment because it was literally like 2 seconds right after the others.
That you were like, "Oh, I need to contact that person," and then
right as I was about to press call, I get another incoming call. I'm like, fine.
They were like, "Hey, I haven't heard from you."
someone was
that
on their
worked
behalf.
out. Yeah.
So
wow.
That was your turn, Mallory.
That is a good God moment. Okay, so my low was just one of those work weeks where it was just kind of really hard. Work is work. That's my low. And then my high was today. I did Saturday, July 7th. Wow, July 10th. I don't know why I was going to say 17th. July 10th, I did sidewalk counseling. I got my training with the Sidewalk Advocates for Life, which is really cool. That was a high. I was going, so quick story about that. I had never done anything like sidewalk stuff until last year, just because, to be honest, at least where I grew up, all the people on the sidewalk were really loud and mean and angry, and they weren't beneficial. They had the pictures of the baby. Sorry, I don't know why that was my hand. Had the pictures of the babies, broken. Which there's a time and a place for that. Absolutely. Sure. I think that that's beneficial in some instances, but the reality is not beneficial outside of the sidewalk. So I grew up. My mom was on the Pregnancy Resource Center board, so I grew up pro-life. We knew about pro-life stuff. I did all the things at the Pregnancy Resource Center, but we never associated with sidewalk people, because the sidewalk people were mean, angry, and they were crazy, and they weren't the people who were they weren't making any actual change. Nothing was happening. All they were doing was just angering other people. So last year is when I did my first sidewalk thing, and it was super uncomfortable. And it's not that I didn't want to talk. My biggest fear is that I talk to somebody and then they get so upset with me, and then they go in there and do it in my name, because of this one girl, I'm going to get this abortion because of this girl specifically. And that's my biggest fear. But I understand that's unrealistic. That's not going to happen. But in the back of your mind, you're scared you're going to say the wrong thing, or make the wrong, I don't know. I guess I was nervous that I'd say the wrong thing, and I didn't want to be responsible if I messed up. Same with witnessing and things like that. I always get nervous that if I ask someone to pray for them, that's not a rando, that they're gonna be like, "Oh my God, you weirdo Christian, I hate God, and it's all because of you," and that doesn't make any sense either. But anyway, so I had that today, and that was just a really good high moment because I learned a lot, and honestly, it was just one of those moments where you were like, I'm supposed to be here. There's a lot of different abortion facilities in Charlotte. One of the biggest in the Southeast is actually in Charlotte, but that's not where they are. That's not where this group goes. But I mean, the fact that there's multiple groups going to multiple places already says a lot. So there's definitely a need for it, and it honestly got me excited to do more for Pro-Life Future Charlotte. So if you live in Charlotte, stay tuned. We got some things in the works. So yeah, it was just a really good high. So my God moment, I think, was I also Friday, because today's Saturday, I spoke at the State House in South Carolina to urge Congress to support the Hyde Amendment, which will segue to like first topic. So I did that, and that was the reason why that was a God moment is because, to be honest, I wasn't 100% sure what I was going to say. And like when I was going over what I was going to say to my brother, like I'm very like when I'm talking to someone, I like to talk about like emotional aspect, because at the end of the day, like people don't, what is the saying? It's like people don't care until they know that you care. That's not the right thing.
People don't care about how much you know until they know how much you care.
Boom.
Yes. So like that, when I'm talking to, like, let's say I was talking to you, let's say you were a pro-abort and you were like, no, or not even that, because honestly, I talk to people who are like personally pro-life, but they're kind of like, do whatever you want. So let's say I was talking to you, I would talk to you like an emotional aspect. Well, the thing I always say, I don't feel comfortable saying that this person's life is worth more than this person's life. And honestly, typically that's kind of like, okay. So, but like if I'm going to talk big, broad picture, so like if I'm going to talk to like a group of people or something, I typically come at it from like more of a statistics and fact side. And when I was telling my brother about, like I did the speech in front of him, he was like, oh no, that was really interesting. Like that you shared a lot of really good facts and statistics, but are you gonna say like how you personally feel? Are you gonna say like how, like, are you gonna add some stuff about like what you've done? And I was like, oh yeah, I guess I should. Like I sometimes forget to add like because when you speak and things like this, I'm realizing that, because I listened to a few other people's before I did mine, just to like get some ideas, I guess. And when you speak, a lot of times people do want to hear like the personal from you, because, and it still goes back, I don't know why, like I switched tactics like that. I think that's just something I made up in my head, because I feel like no one's trained me that way. But like people want to hear the emotional side. So the God moment was when I was doing this, I wasn't really sure what I was going to say till I got up there, and then I was just kind of like, yeah, I'll do what I planned, and then whatever comes out comes out. And I feel like some stuff came out that was good. So, and that'll be on our YouTube page on Monday. You can find that on our YouTube, and I think I'll put it on Instagram too.
Fantastic.
But yeah,
nice.
So is there anything you guys want to say about the Hyde Amendment?
Hyde saves lives, and I think that if pro-choicers are going to be consistent with being pro-choice, then they should be pro the choice of where people's tax dollars go.
Good point.
Yeah, instead of pro-lifers having no choice but to fund abortion. Yeah.
And I guess we should talk about what it is really quick. I just thought of that. So if you're listening, you're like, that's great, Mel and Jerry, but what is the Hyde Amendment? Let me tell you. So the Hyde Amendment is an amendment that was added after Roe and Doe that does not allow for direct funding, but you know that like the government does fund some things, but does not allow for direct funds to go from taxpayers federally. Let me start over. The Hyde Amendment does not allow federal taxpayer money to go directly to abortion services. So people on Medicaid cannot get their abortion paid for, things like that, which is why they say that it's racist. But I don't understand how killing someone will be racist. Giving someone the option to live freely is technically the antithesis of racism. And I said that in my speech.
Ooh, that's good. Were people clapping for you after you said that? Are they like...
Well, there was a lady who was like in the back, and that was kind of funny. She was like,
like I stand, I received that.
Yeah, it was kind of one of those things. But yeah.
I want to touch on the Hyde Amendment from the perspective of a Catholic and acknowledge how Biden claims to be Catholic. And because as far as I've understand, he has, even though he is pro-abortion, he has always supported the Hyde Amendment up until now, his presidency. And so as a Catholic Christian who says, well, you know, my faith believes one thing, but I personally believe this, but I can't enact that. I can't, you know, put my beliefs into policies. Not only does he claim to be, you know, personally pro-life, he's widening, he's expanding the procurement and funding of abortion. So it's not just a personal, okay, well, he's personally pro-life, but politically pro-abortion. No, he is openly supporting and actively, you know, advancing the abortion industry's agenda. You know what I mean? It's not just this, well, you know, personally pro-life, but politically pro-abortion. No, it's he's expanding. He is wanting the expansion of abortion per the desires of NARAL and Planned Parenthood. So,
and he is directly, because, you know, there's a lot of things that we can do that indirectly. I don't know how, like, I think there's a term for it, like indirect and direct sins for Catholics, but for Protestants, we don't. I think it's just a thing. It's just a sin either way. But there's like indirect things that you can do to support different things. And then there's like direct things. And like, at least from our earthly, worldly understanding, something being direct, like that's, I mean, there's no excuses for that. Like, he's directly supporting and allowing these things. And I want to also add this, those of you listening, part of being an other girl or an OG, we're still trying to figure out some fun names for us.
OG.
Yeah. Part of being that is not just talking about culture, but also like taking steps to like change it. So one of the things you can do is reach out to your senator and let them know how you feel, that you do not want them to get rid of the Hyde Amendment. Tell them. You can go just Google Senator of North Carolina, Senator of Texas, Senator of Washington State, Senator of Arkansas, and call them. Call their office, call their district office too, because call them. Be very kind and sweet to the district people. They need it, but call them, let them know how you feel, because this is something that's very important. And I mean, I don't think it would ever actually like pass. Do you think that they would repeal it? Even as possible?
I don't know.
I think politically, it kind of all comes down to that one senator, Manchin. Yeah, I want to say that he's a very crucial vote. I know he's a Democrat. Can't remember from what state.
West Virginia.
Melanie
Melanie and we urged him to confirm Amy Coney Barrett.
Yes, I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Did he?
He did.
Oh.
Wow.
All thanks to us.
You know, there's still some good, sensible people in this world. But the one thing that I thought of when you guys were talking about Biden was the getaway driver, you know, of a bank robbery is still, you know, guilty of the crime, even though that they didn't actually go in there and hold up and take the money. You know, they still aided and abetted and got the people there to commit the crime. So is just as responsible and guilty. So, you know, when people make the argument of, oh, well, he's personally pro-life, it's a bunch of malarkey. And, you know, I just pray for his soul, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure there's a lot of forces that, you know, we don't even know, you know, a lot of entities probably, you know, deep, dark state. And I'm no conspiracy theorist, but the abortion lobby definitely has him in his pocket. It is very apparent. If there's one issue that is, you know, black and white, night and day, it is that issue, and it is the forefront. It is what's leading. Even though that, you know, people will talk about all these other issues, no, this election was the pro-life election. So, yeah, pray and everything. But, you know, that's the Hyde Amendment. And I was looking up a little bit earlier the Mexico City policy, which is what President Trump enacted in law, and that helps. Oh, I just read it. Yeah, so this is related too, because Biden also repealed it through executive order, but that was blocking U.S. federal funding to non-governmental organizations that provided abortion counseling or referrals. Basically, you know, it basically expanded abortion businesses that would expand the abortion access. So that is something that was repealed that, you know, was saving lives. So, you know, Biden not including that in the proposed budget that the senator, you know, our legislators in Capitol Hill are going to vote on, is, you know, telling of where the abortion lobby has.
Yeah, it's just like, how can you even say you're even personally pro-life if you're, you know, willing to repeal these things?
Yeah, typical politician, always flip-flopping and never being consistent. So, but it's stressing the importance of calling whether the person that represents you is on your political, you know, side or not. Those calls, and I've seen it firsthand, you know, being in the state capitol and actually being in an office when they're literally picking up two phones. Okay. And then they write it all down.
I was going to say, they really do record it. Like,
oh yeah,
you know, your person might not see Joe Bob from Minnesota said X, Y, and Z, but there is going to be a report, and it's going to be noted that 15 people, sir, 15 of your voting people have called in to say they wanted you to vote this way. Sir, I think you should vote this way. Like, that's just how, and yeah, that's how it is. Like, and also too, like, in a loving way, always remind your representatives that they work for you. Like, they are servants to you. You don't, like, you tell them what to do. And I think sometimes we forget that because they're so far away. And because they seem like these big, amazing, like, super important people. Because we think,
we make them out to be celebrities.
Right. And they're not, they're servants.
Should never clap for a politician. That's what I heard someone say that, and I was like, that's brilliant, because then you're, you know, putting them on a celebrity status, like you said. So.
You shouldn't, but we do. And we stand up when they walk in. But anyway, that's the point is, though, like, they have to be, like, they have to listen to you. If X amount of people, if 65,000 people call in to say vote this way and they don't vote that way, their election, because House, they're elected every 2 years, their election is in jeopardy. So they have to listen to you. Transitioning to our next topic, which is still in the same realm, we are going to be talking about the Olympic hurdler Brianna McNeil. So she lost her appeal of a 5-year ban. The 29-year-old track and field athlete will be forced to miss the next 2 Olympic Games, putting her career in jeopardy. In April, the AIU accused McNeil, winner of the 2016 100-meter hurdles, of falsifying doctors' records after missing a doping test in 2020. McNeil had an abortion and put down the wrong date of her procedure. The AIU alleged that McNeil intentionally put down the wrong date to justify missing a testing date. According to a report from the AIU, McNeil, who is 29, had the abortion on January 10th of the year, but dated the procedure of January 11th. The doping test was scheduled for January 12th. McNeil stated that she was distressed after the procedure and that putting down the wrong date was an accident. She stated, this part is important and incredibly sad. She stated she had the abortion in order to compete for a spot in the Tokyo Olympic Games. She later qualified during the June trials. However, the 5-year suspension was levied, and she will be ineligible from competing in both the forthcoming event in Tokyo as well as the Olympics scheduled in 2024 in Paris. Angered by the outcome, McNeil explained her experience and outrage in a lengthy social media message posted last Saturday. She contended that being off by 1 day in the doctor's note should not be grounds for such a penalty. Quote, should my career pretty much be over because I had the date of my abortion off by 24 hours, end quote. Begin quote again. The event did happen. It was 100% the reason why I missed the test. I was physically and emotionally drained that entire weekend, end quote. She stated that the doping control officer came to her home at 6 a.m. and that the World Athletics was later concerned about her well-being than getting the paper correct. Okay. So, a lot of thoughts. Who wants to go first?
I'll start, just because I've followed this, very closely. I have that search thing on Google that will notify me whenever any article, even contains the word or subject of abortion. When I first read this, you have to read between the lines and everything, because, of course, in this day and age, you could take any story and spin it however you want and have a different, outcome of, what people think of it and what they take away from it. Yeah, when I first read this, I remember my initial reactions as, wow, she's justifying, trying to make the excuse of ending her child's life, for missing it. But, you read further in the article and it shows you that she missed, two other doping tests, which is, very standard. And so, it's basically the 3-strike rule. And this was her 3rd strike. And,
I should have added that. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
but
yeah.
The link to this will be on a blog post on the website. All the links to all the articles every time is going to be on there. So if you ever want to read any of the articles, and that suggestion was sent in by a fan.
Whoa, fantastic. And this is in the news because, and I will be flat out, because the abortion industry is trying to capitalize and normalize that abortion is fine and a justifiable excuse for missing out. You also have the racial aspect to this as well. I know that other runner was in the news too, for marijuana use and everything, and getting those I want to say parameters, but no, penalties, excuse me. I think it's just really sad. And I just want to pray for her soul, because, she flat, in the articles that I've been reading, she flat out, says, like, emotionally and physically, draining, that person is hurting. And when I read the part where she says that she was like floored when she learned that the games were going to be postponed because of the pandemic, and that she could have had her child, it's a child, not a choice, kind of thing.
Ooh,
and yeah,
you shared idea.
I mean, I think it exists, Mallory, but maybe, you could put a different spin on it. I have lots of ideas, and I'm sure anybody listening, your fans, if they have ideas, I'm sure they send it to you too as well. Hint, hint, wink, wink. But yeah, that's my take. I think, because I'm looking at this from the perspective of, okay, well, who's trying to capitalize off of this story? What is the intent? What is the, I don't want to say agenda, but what is basically the messaging? Yeah, what is basically the messaging that they're trying to get at? What is the outcome? And the outcome is basically that, is they are trying to normalize that, all these athletes do it. And they were doing interviews. This was a separate article, video, something. They're saying that this is a increasing problem that is not well known in the athletic community, especially in the Olympics. But yeah, no, this is a very sad story, and it I'm very sad that was the outcome. And she even says in the article, like, you'll read it, and I hope you do, or get a synopsis of it. But she says that she didn't want to have to disclose it, but she felt that she had to in order to justify missing the 3rd, dope testing. So dope is like steroids. So, just so people know, it's not like,
I thought it was marijuana.
Okay. Well, that too. I mean, it's basically anything that is deemed an illegal substance.
Okay.
An illegal substance that is performance enhancing.
So dope. This is just a side question. So dope just encompasses more than one thing. It's not just because, like, in movies they say, "Oh, you've been doping." I'm assuming they mean marijuana, but they can mean meth too.
Yeah. Anything that I don't know what it all is, but it's a lot of chemicals. It's a lot of over-the-counter drugs sometimes. I don't know where I heard this, and feel free to chime in here, Melanie, but I heard that now there's, this is unconfirmed, so don't take it from my words. But I heard that when you're pregnant, you get all these flow of hormones, that are strength enhancing. So the not the theory, but what I've heard is that people are purposefully, getting pregnant and then aborting their child, but still having the hormones right before, they're competing. So it's giving them almost like a natural hormone
like boost.
enhancement. Yeah. And that's another topic for another time, because that just shows you the the humanity, the lack of the thought of that. So I've been speaking a lot. I'm sorry. It's very
good though. It's
discussion.
I'm gonna look up something real quick on my phone, but yeah.
Go for it.
So for me, I see this from the lens as a pro-life feminist. And so what I'm seeing is just the inequality and the perpetuated discrimination that women feel the need of my body has to be like that of a man if I want to compete in sports and have my place. And so this shouldn't be happening. Women shouldn't feel like I have to have my abortion in order to succeed. And so now we're seeing this in the Olympics. We saw, I think, like a couple years back with that actress who won an Oscar, that there was a need to get an abortion in order for her to continue her acting career. And I think that in an ideal world, in a post-Roe culture of life world, women should never feel this way. We should never have to feel this way, that we have to get rid of our children by means of abortion, intentionally ending the life of a preborn human to continue with our dreams and goals. So something I want to bring up is Title IX. So on college campuses, Title IX is known for preventing discrimination. It is preventing and has policies in place if people are survivors of sexual assault, sexual abuse on campus. But another aspect of Title IX is that pregnant and parenting students cannot be discriminated against. So an example of this would be if their child is sick, that they should be allowed to miss class for that day or find another childcare provider and not and have the opportunity to get credit for that class, to redo homework, or for example, if a woman were to give birth the week before finals, that she should be allowed to have some recovery time and not completely fail the course for needing time to rejuvenate before going back to class. And another example that's extremely relevant to the Olympics, that if a student athlete is on scholarship and becomes pregnant, they cannot lose their scholarship or their place on the team. And so that is protected under Title IX, that they are allowed to complete their pregnancy, have their baby, not lose their scholarship, and then still have their spot on the team. And this, in an ideal post-Roe culture of life world that the pro-life movement is fighting for, this would be everywhere. In the workplace, in the Olympics, in Hollywood. And so I just would hope that as time goes on, that there will be a similar policy for female athletes in the Olympics, in these high athletic competitive worlds, that they can, become pregnant and not lose their spot on the team or be able to.
Well, there is, what I find interesting about the story is there is a lady that is pregnant that is running.
Yeah, that's
what I was looking up. Yeah,
that's and another on the other, I don't know, side of the coin is an athlete right now who's pregnant and competing.
18 weeks. She's 18 weeks pregnant. Her name is Lindsay Schwartz Flack. So I'm sure you'll put that link in there, but definitely give her a follow on Instagram. She only has 3,300 followers as of the recording of this. So we definitely need to boost those numbers up, because it's she's showing that you can not only compete, but have your child.
That's why I followed her. Yeah.
Her bio says Olympic trials with baby on board.
I love that. I love that.
She called it a baby. What?
Interesting.
She's pregnant with a baby.
Yeah, when I was reading, I was thinking, I was like, there is someone currently. Am I echoing?
No,
you're good.
There is someone currently who is pregnant, so it's possible, which kind of shows that I feel like that was just kind of an excuse. I feel like maybe she just didn't want to have a child, but the part that says, it says, however, the 5-year suspension was levied and she'll be ineligible to compete in both the forthcoming event in Tokyo as well as the Olympic schedule in 2020 in Paris. 2024 in Paris. One of my thoughts was like, she could have just missed one. She wouldn't have missed one, but she could have just missed one and said she's missing 2, whereas the one in Paris is probably going to be more fun. And imagine doing that, and the restrictions are over by 2024, I'm assuming, and having your child watch you run and win in Paris. Like, how amazing would that be? And I thought about that, and now she's missing both without the child.
Yeah, no, that's
sad.
There's definitely a lot of hurt, and the fact that it's this is all, publicized. This is a real life scenario that we see, on the sidewalk every time. People will say, "Oh, this is the hardest decision that a woman can ever make," and I want to give it the perspective from the male side. Is that where was the man in the relationship? Where was the guy encouraging her, saying, "No, you don't need to do this," right? But instead, believing in the lie that, to put your own dreams over your child's, your future child. And it pains me because, that lack of masculinity to be able to stand up and to protect is just so lacking in our society. And it only encourages me. And this is so funny. I didn't know I was going to be on this podcast until I got here. But on my drive here, I was going through this scenario of like, I was on a stage and I was given like the most passionate speech ever. And I was what's the word? Justify angry? No.
Righteously angry.
Righteous. It was righteous anger to people saying, look, using the example, the analogy of, pressing a red button every time you push it, you get, $100,000 and, would you push it? But with the catch that, somebody dies each time you push it. And that's
a movie.
Mm-hmm. And it's so sad that, to say or to, admit that there are people out there that will do it. They say, I don't care. It's money for me. And not to, we never hate on the women who have been lied to and who have believed in the abortion lie, and that you need, to, not have a child in order to succeed. People that push that button, so it's just so sad. And like I said, in this whole article, this whole story, I don't remember reading anything about, the boyfriend or husband in there and what, his take was on it, because I mean, I'm not trying to assume anything here, but regardless of how a child is conceived, whether it's in a one-night stand or in a loving relationship of marriage, covenant of marriage, that is a child that is part of our human species. And like I said, I don't know why I was on this stage in my mind and talking with whoever was listening to me and using that analogy.
Preparing for right now. Go ahead.
I guess, but we definitely need to combat that mindset of, it's really just self-interest and not looking out for our fellow, brothers and sisters. So this is just a story, an article, as sad as it is, and as I want to say frustrating, but angry that the other side, the pro-abortion side, is trying to capitalize this to spin it in a way of that it's okay, you know. And sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, you know, the organization that I work for, we follow, you know, we call it opposition research. So we're following all the hashtags, all the accounts, you know, abortion facilities, you know, Planned Parenthood, and they're picking up on this. They picked up the story from the very beginning, and you know, they're saying like, let her run. You know, she should be unashamed and she should not be punished, because that was her excuse of she didn't hear the doorbell because she was in bed, you know, recovering, you know, from this trauma, and it is trauma. Mm-hmm. So that's my take from the male perspective.
Yeah. So to those other guys out there.
Yeah, I'm sure some guys listen to this.
Those other guys.
Yeah,
we need more men to step up and be for the vulnerable, mm-hmm. for the voiceless, for the most innocent among us, which are the preborn, and be a voice for all the ladies in your life. And I know, like, when I've been on the sidewalk, I've seen a lot of couples, and I can only imagine that if that man, I'm going to say a funny analogy, but if he hiked up his skirt, pulled out his tampon and grew some balls and told his woman, you don't need to do this. I'm going to take care of you and our baby, and I'm going to support you in any way I can. I want to believe that abortion would not be happening. That consultation would not be happening if more men would be a man. So those other guys, step up.
Yeah, and I want to echo everything they said. I do think it's so important that men step up. And I said this in one of my Instagram stories on my personal page a couple days ago. A lot of problems that we have is because men are natural protectors and providers, and they're masculine, and they're not doing that right now. There are so many men that are not protecting and providing. They are not stepping up. They're not asserting their masculinity. They're not doing any of that. And, you know, we can go back and forth about whether, because one of my friends was like, well, girls don't, okay, fine. We can go back and forth about how it started. We know what the issue is. Now let's fix it. You know, men need to step up. And this is just a side note for those other girls. Make sure you get those other guy. Like, you want a guy that if you are in a situation like that, you want a guy that is going to step up, and he's not going to, I don't want to say not let you, but like, we're all in relationships. There's going to be a time where sometimes someone might not be at their 100%. You want someone that you can trust to come in and hold your hand and hold you, like, lift you up when you are down. You want to be with a guy that if you are in that situation, and maybe you are, you know, in college, and you know, were saving yourself and something happened and then you decided not to do it, and you just feel all this pressure, because that's another thing that I would like us to talk about, not this episode, but another episode, is kind of the pressures of being a Christian and saying you're a Christian and running into these situations, because that's a real thing. But anyway, so let's say that's your scenario. You want a man that is not going to, if you are just not thinking straight, because honestly, because of maybe hormones, because of emotions, you want a man that's going to come up and say, hey, nope, we're going to do the right thing. We're going to be a good person. We're going to do the right thing. You want someone who can do that. So when you're low, they can help lift you up. I was going to add one other thing, I think.
I was giving snaps for that. That was really good.
Thank you. And I think this is a perfect example of, we really need to do our part in culture, because like Jerry was saying, they're running with this story, and they're going to spin this. I mean, anytime on Those Other Girls, we post anything super pro-lifey about women not needing abortions to succeed, there's pro-choicers. Well, actually, oh, this is a terror. Why'd you use women empowering women hashtag? I mean, there's tons of people coming out of the woodwork. I'm unfollowing, and then we look and they never followed us in the first place. So it's like there's tons of people who are going to be loud and yelling about abortion. But we have to be louder. And also too, we have to at least say something to our friends. Like, we don't necessarily, and I've said this before, I don't remember if I said this here or if it was the Focus on the Family thing I did, but you don't have to be like the person that's sharing something in their story every single day. I mean, I think the three of us do, and that's just because that's like our thing. But it could also just be you're hanging out with Mary Sue and she makes a comment and you can go, you know what, Mary Sue, actually, blah, 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 blah. Like, it could be something as tiny as that, but this is such a huge culture problem that I feel like if we don't get a hold of this, it's just going to get worse. And that's my concern.
Can I add something real quick, Mallory?
Yep.
And no fault of yours, but the whole concept of, you know, saying that they're pro-choice. What are they pro-choice on? Like, what is the choice? Their choice is abortion. So they use that to hide behind what they're really advocating for. And so I encourage not only, you know, us here, we're pretty good at it because Students for Life is, they're really good at changing that narrative, but we really need to call them out for what they are. And they're pro-abortion or pro-aborts, you know, really, as if you want to shorten it. But, you know, they are not for the choice. They're not for adoption. They're for the choice of killing a child in the womb through abortion. So yeah, I just wanted to put that out there for your listeners, because like you said, it is changing the culture, and part of that is the narrative and making sure that it's correct. You know, why do they call us anti abortion? You know, that's what I've heard. It's, you're just anti-abortion.
Anti-choice.
Yeah, you're just pro-birth. You know, it's like, okay, then you're pro-abortion, and they get offended to that. You know, oh, I'm not pro-abortion, I'm pro-choice. You know, it's another ploy, it's another tactic that they try to fool themselves. You know, so I just wanted to put that out there. So
no, that's good. That's good, and a good thing to be cognizant of. And we kind of sort of talked about stuff when it came to adoption language when we had Annie on. Maybe we can do that another episode. We can talk about language, or we can just do a mini YouTube video. Maybe that'd be good, because that's part of like culture, like you were saying. That's part of changing culture. Speaking of culture, Taylor Swift is part of our culture. She's part of pop culture. Let's hear a story about her. Okay. Marsha Blackburn fires back at Taylor Swift, and she says socialism will destroy your career. Senator Marsha Blackburn from Tennessee, I think everybody remembers her. She was the one who Taylor Swift endorsed her opponent in Tennessee. The first time Taylor Swift ever came out with any politics, she wrote this long thing about how evil Marsha Blackburn was. She says this article says, it was the first time Swift had waded in politics, saying, as much as I have in the past and would like to continue voting for women in office, I cannot support Marsha Blackburn. Her voting record in Congress appalls me and terrifies me. These are not my Tennessee values. I'll be voting for Phil Burdenson for Senate. It had little impact on the campaign. Love to see it. As Blackburn won the election handedly. The pop star complained about Blackburn in the 2020 Netflix documentary, Miss Americana, and it tracked her shift to the part-time political operative, saying she gets to be the first female senator in Tennessee, and she's Trump in a wig. She represents no female interest, and she won by being a female, applying to the kind of female males want us to be in the horrendous 1950s world. This week, though, in an interview with Breitbart, Blackburn explained what it would mean to the genre in which Swift first found success and political views like hers were to prevail. When you talk about country, when you talk about country music, and I know the left is all out now and trying to change country music and make it woke. When I'm talking to my friends who are musicians and entertainers, they say, if we have a socialistic government. If we have Marxism, you are going to be the first ones who will be cut off because the state would have to approve your music, she said. And Taylor Swift came after me in my 2018 campaign. But Taylor Swift would be the first victim because when you look at Marxist socialist societies, they do not allow women to dress or sing or be on stage or entertain that type of music that she would have. They don't allow protection of private intellectual property rights, end quote. Oh, that's a good thing. That's her little last quibbit. I don't know if you guys know the whole situation with her. So Taylor Swift, she re-released an older album because she bought her first couple of albums, she didn't own the masters to. So this guy who apparently, Scooter Braun's, who is, I think, Demi Lovato's and Justin Bieber's person, apparently was super mean to her. And not that I don't believe her, this is what she said, alleged. He allegedly was very mean to her and wouldn't let her hold her masters, which is like the rights to her music. So then I want to say, right when the "Look What You Made Me Do," "Look What You Made Me Do," you remember that song?
Talking about that guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
So I think when that song came out, that's when she fought in court to get her masters. So now she's re-releasing old albums. So that's what that last line is about.
That's insane. I had no idea. This is all new to me.
Yeah, there's some people who don't own their music. So like they give their music to a record label, and the record label just gives them a chunk of money, and then that's it. And the record label can make 5 or 6 times more than they gave that person, but because they don't own it, then it's not really.
They're not getting the royalties. Yeah. Singer-songwriters.
Which is why this podcast hopefully is going to always stay independent because they do the same thing with podcasts too. I don't know about the Call Her Daddy thing. Did you hear about that? So Call Her Daddy is this nasty, my friend called it trigger warning, ear porn. I guess that wasn't a trigger warning. That was more of a 18. Anyway, she called it that. It's like, honestly, it was kind of part of the reason why I thought of doing Those Other Girls, because they talk about interesting things, I guess, but it's super raunchy, like so raunchy. Anyway, there were two girls started it, and then Barstool bought it. And
Barstools, are you serious?
Barstool bought the podcast.
I need to unfollow them on Instagram.
No, I mean,
I only watch the stuff because he's the same guy that does the pizza reviews, right?
Yeah. You can still follow him. There's just, he owns the no, I don't think he owns the podcast anymore, but he owned the podcast, and long story short, they split because one girl wanted more money or something like that. It's hard to follow. It's been so long as well, but the girl makes $500,000 a year from podcasting, and that doesn't include endorsements. So amazing. Anywho,
full disclosure, sorry, you might hear some panting if you're listening. It's because we have Melanie's dog here, Manolo, who she shares the gospel with.
I was just about to say that's the one whom Melanie loves.
Oh yeah, she's in love with him. Sometimes I'm jealous. I'm like, how come you don't treat me like that? I'm just kidding. But no, so Taylor Swift. That's the singer that does the "Shake It Off," right?
Yes.
Shake it off, shake it off. It's the only song I know.
You know who Taylor Swift is, right, Melanie?
Yes.
Should I not have included this story?
She should have stayed in country. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay.
Because there's something that we say here in Texas, and if you're mixing country and rap, it's crap. But she went more pop, so whatever she wanted to do. But I
remember an old song of hers that she was like, "Call me T Swizzy" or something like that. Because I'm a rap star.
Cringe.
That was like a joke, I think. I don't know if that was like on albums. I mean, honestly, no one liked it.
Maybe it's part of her masters. We don't know.
Maybe she owns that.
I feel like just so many celebrities, Taylor Swift in particular, it's like they grow up and they're this all-American girl, and then they're
Is that her song?
Thank you. I don't think so. But they're, you know, this like wholesome person, and then they, you know, get intertwined with all things secular, liberal, left. Power. And it's, you know, sad that there's a need to appeal to this, you know, mob audience. And if you don't appeal, then you could lose a fan base. But I'm glad that, is this a senator who fired back?
Yeah, she's a queen. Yeah, Marsha Blackburn.
Yeah, I'm glad that she said something. And I feel like it goes along the lines of people want what they don't have, and when they have it, they won't want it. Kind of like how, oh, socialism is great, etc. But I appreciate that Marsha is sharing the reality of like, honey, if you get what you want, if you get what you're asking for, you gonna be one of the first to go. You gonna be one of the first under government control. So I can only hope that sparked some truth, a seed of truth into Taylor's mind, and she's thinking about that like, didn't think about that before. None of my leftist posse presented it to me in this way.
Go ahead, Melanie.
Well, I was just saying, I'm curious who her her political advisors are, because I feel like Taylor Swift definitely, because I mean, she went from people, Taylor, you have to speak up, because she didn't speak up at all. She went from having to do that, and then now she's like this big like pride advocate. And
I want to share something. Have you heard of the YouTuber Amanda Ensing?
Yes.
Okay.
Share her info.
Have you talked about?
Everybody's heard of her, but no. So funny story. We tried to get her on and like reached out to her. She responded, and then like literally the next day she like blew up. Like that's when everybody. This is like we found out about her like a day or two before everything blew up. So we tried to get her on, and then someone else kind of like broke the story, and then I think she just by that point I think my DM was like all the way down here, so she just didn't get to it anymore.
It's terrible. She should honor that you had first dibs, basically.
I mean, that'd be nice, Amanda. We would still love to have you on and like do a collab, possibly.
For people that don't know, like myself, who is this person? Can you give a brief?
So Amanda Ensing is an influencer. She is a makeup artist, and
you showed me this video, and she came out as conservative, and they were like canceling her. Okay, fantastic. I know this, but the other people.
So I
did you not know before? Were you just but you didn't know who we were talking about?
No, I had to be reminded, but I remember watching a video on that.
I think you were watching me listen to it in the background or something. Anyways, but yeah, I just want to give a shout out to celebrities like Amanda who say, you know what? No, I'm going to own my conservative values, and I'm not going to bow down to the mob. I'm not going to do what all my, I don't know, publicists, marketing team, etc. are wanting of me to do. I'm going to own it. I'm going to say, no, this is the way how I vote. This is how I believe. And you can't cancel me if I don't let you. I'm going to stay in my makeup field. I'm going to stay in my YouTuber, influencer, you know, genre and my lane, and you can't stop me from that. I'm going to own it. So I appreciate her. I can't think of any other like big names who've just said, no, this is who I am. And yeah, I'm also a comedian, and I'm also, well, I guess Kanye-ish. Yeah.
Put Kanye I'd put Kanye in his own category. I'm not saying he's not a Christian, or I'm not saying he's not pro-life. I'm just saying he just has his own category.
Yeah. I just wanted to share that appreciation of Amanda, who says, you know what, I can be beauty and brains, and it doesn't have to be one or the other. I can be both. And so yeah, I hope more celebrities will think for themselves, be free thinkers, and will say, yeah, this is me, and this is all of me, and you're free to unfollow, you're free to unsubscribe, and that's fine. I know for me, like, I started watching Amanda again because I'm like, whoa, like that brought me to her.
Oh, you knew about her before all that happened?
I used to watch her makeup videos, like, I don't know, 2017, 2018. And then I stopped. And then once I heard about her, I thought, oh my gosh. So now she does these cool videos of, she'll like put on makeup while she's talking about politics, which is really cool.
Okay, yeah. If you're into all that, that's cool. So another celebrity, really quick, I stumbled upon, you remember Spy Kids?
Yes.
You remember Carmen?
Yes.
The girl.
Yes, the girl. Listen to what her bio says. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Okay, to Philippians 4:13. Okay, everybody says that. Listen to this part. Passionate about unborn babies and their mamas.
Love that.
That was my reaction too, Melanie. I was like, follow. I had no idea. So definitely going to try to get her on the podcast. Alexa, if you ever stumble upon this, I will raise money to pay for your flight to come here if you want. We would love to have you on the podcast.
That.
Oh my goodness.
I think you should go one step further, Mallory, and I think you should encourage your listeners to do like a social media blast, or like tag her and tag you and say, hey, look her up, and that will redo the interest for both. What was it, Alexa?
Yeah, Alexa Vega.
For Alexa and for her. And fun fact, I'm sorry, just because, San Antonio gotta represent, part of the movie where they are where they're filming, in the Spy Kids movie is actually part of it was filmed in the Central Library here in San Antonio, because the building looks super like weird and like square, very, very futuristic. So
I did not know that.
Fun fact. So if she hears that tidbit and understands, know that we're proud that part of Spy Kids was shot here in San Antonio. So
now I want to watch Spy Kids.
Alexa, whatever gets you on the podcast, if that was the fact that you're like, you know what, I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, that I knew that.
Yeah. And Big Time Rush?
No.
Yes.
She's married to Carlos.
Wow.
And on his Instagram, Melanie, it is the sweetest. He talks about how much he loves being a father and teaching his sons and protect. I've never seen anything like it. I know. Okay, so we should do a whole campaign to get her on the podcast. Maybe we can write her a lovely letter.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
I feel like I knew that he's Christian, right?
Oh, yeah. They're like they do. Oh, they also do natural family planning. She doesn't do birth control.
What? Yeah. She talks about it on her social media.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes, girl. I know. I was like, what? How did I not know this? But I was talking to somebody about it, and they made a good point. They said, think about it though. When was the last time she was in something? Something mainstream. Apparently, she's in a lot of Hallmark movies. But think about it, when was the last time she was in something mainstream?
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot. A lot of time. And then I saw another article about how Jordan Sparks is pro-life. And the person was like, well, what was the last time you heard a Jordan Sparks song? So a lot of time when these people come out as like conservative or pro-life or whatever, they kind of are like pushed, like, you know what? Let's not work with her anymore. At least that's the vibe I'm getting. I could be wrong. They could be, they could not want to do it, but it feels as if, or I'll just leave it at that. They could not want to do it. They live in Hawaii.
No, yeah, 100%. Like that's exactly what happened to Amanda NSYNC. She lost her partnership with Sephora, that they let her go once she started talking about politics. So no,
it's possible. Yeah. But yeah, Alexa Vega. So make sure you follow her on Instagram and support everything she does, because I was going through. So I thought about like, what if I do one of those things where like I'm always commenting on her stories, but I don't want to come off as creepy.
No, you
And I
just need
don't
to
think
have your listeners do it and say, yeah, Mallory sent me. Oh, yeah, I found Mallory told me to follow you. And then she'd be like, who's this Mallory?
Yeah. Okay, maybe we can have the listeners reach out to her. Okay, maybe I'll DM her. But the listeners reach out to her, and then we'll do a post that they have to tag her under it.
I love it.
I
would
love that she's married to Carlos and that they're living their happy NFP life.
And they live in Hawaii. They moved out of California.
I mean, I don't think Hawaii is that much better.
No, it's not.
If anything, it's worse.
Expensive, super pro-abortion, and when they had the pandemic, they couldn't leave at all.
Well, the thing is, I'm pretty sure they live like from, at least it looks like they live like out, not like in Hawaii, but like out, kind of like out of the way.
Smaller islands.
Smaller, that's the vibe I'm getting. But I mean, I would say almost any place is better than LA, at least when it comes to like the industry. You should listen to episode 40 where we talk about human trafficking in Hollywood. Very interesting stuff. Episode 40. But yeah, everybody follow Alexa Vega, and then as often as possible casually mention she should come on the podcast. If I could, I would get a videographer or something, and I would love to do like a 30-minute segment video, something like how all the celebrities have people come to their home and they do all this stuff. Obviously she wouldn't come to my home. I would try to get a hotel room or something, but we'd film it in a hotel. But I mean, unless it's like 3 years from now, then sure, she can my nice home I'd have in the future. But anyway, so we've gone a really long time, so we're going to skip over the last story because we can maybe talk about that. That's evergreen. I feel as if we can talk about that next week, maybe. Are you okay with that, or do you really want to talk about it?
What's evergreen?
Something that you can talk about, like, it's not current news.
Oh, yeah, gotcha.
What's happening July 31st?
Yes, we should talk about that. So July 31st, we're going to be doing our first Voice for the Voiceless event. Wherever you are, grab your pals together and walk 3 miles or run if you want to run. And you can head to our website. You can purchase a ticket, and 100% of the ticket, other than the part that the website takes out, is going to go to Safe House Project. Hopefully we'll be having Safe House Project on the podcast soon, and to talk about all that they do. If you listened to me a couple weeks ago, I talked about how someone came and talked at my Republican women's meeting, and it literally, I was just like, wow, okay, so we have to figure out how to end period poverty, we have to end abortion, and now we're going to have to end human trafficking. All right, let's do it. Like, that was just, I had just heard the one about the period poverty, and I was like, oh my gosh, how are we going to fix that? And then I heard them like, oh my goodness, how are we going to fix human trafficking? Like, those 3 things are very, very important, and they're all going to be part of our Voice for the Voiceless campaign stuff that we'll be doing. But the 5K is what's coming up. So head over to our website to do that. Also, too, we have cute t-shirts that have like Voice for the Voiceless on our website, and the design is really, really nice. It was created by Whitney. So yeah.
Yay, Whitney.
Let's see. And then, yeah, we probably should just go ahead and wrap it up. But I'll say the last thing I want to say is we do have a code for Culture of Life 1972. And it is Those Are the Girls 1972. This necklace I'm wearing is from there.
Love.
Love
that.
Thank you. And then if you've ever seen me in my 1972 necklace, I wore that at the State House thing. And the lady came up to me and was like, oh, isn't that Abby Johnson's thing? I was like, yeah, she's one of the ambassadors. I didn't say this, but in my head, I was like, I should have told her about the code, but it's okay.
Now she's going to use Abby Johnson's code.
Yeah, I'm concerned she's going to use Abby Johnson's code. She needs to use ours. Abby Johnson gets enough. No, I'm just joking. 100% of your purchase goes to pro-life causes. And Carla spoke at our summit. She's the person who owns it. A great organization or store. They have really, really cute clothes and jewelry and whatnot. All right, I think we should call it a day. I think we talked about a lot of things, and we really do want to try to be 45 minutes or less, and this was probably about an hour.
Oh gosh. Well, thank you for making it all the way here, if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're the real MVP.
Do you think people stop?
I don't know. Well, I hope they actually go on the YouTube so they can see how cute of a couple we are. And if you couldn't tell from my voice, I'm half Korean. So if you want to see how that looks.
From your voice.
Yeah, I don't sound Korean? Not at all?
No.
Okay, well, I've been here most of my life, and so now I picked up the southern twang of Texan.
You're not from Korea.
I'm half Korean, that's what I said.
Okay, but you've never had a Korean accent.
I'm from Seattle, so it was a lot different accent. And I will just say, Mallory, whenever I'm traveling outside the state of Texas, I make it like my mission to have more of a Texan accent. To represent and to kind of like rehash the stereotype. And I wear all my Texas flag.
Are you gonna do that?
Socks. Absolutely.
Next month? Oh absolutely. My goodness. What do you know what you're gonna wear? To the wedding?
Oh. Are
you gonna do that there? Are you gonna pretend to be extra Texan there?
No.
Okay.
You have your Texas tie. You could wear.
No, that brings too much attention. On that occasion, I will be very subtle.
But you can wear a cowboy hat.
But when we go meet other Northerners, like people from North Carolina, I always try to bring out the Texas accent.
Woo! Back up. North Carolina is definitely not the North, so let's rewind that.
You're north of Texas.
Okay, okay.
We'll settle this another time.
We'll settle this another time. Who the real South is. Just joking. Texas is a certain thing. That's why it's not part of the South. But anyway.
Okay.
So everybody thinks, I wanted to do like a this or that with you guys. Do you want to do one really quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do a quick this or that so you guys can get to know Melanie and Jerry.
Bonus round.
Yeah, bonus. Oh, let's do. Okay, so I'm gonna say this or that, and then Melanie tell me what you think Jerry would say, and Jerry tell me what you think Melanie would say.
Okay.
And then let me know if they're right.
Okay.
Chips or popcorn?
Okay, I think Jerry would say chips because popcorn gives him burps.
And the kernel, yeah, that's very true. And the kernels get stuck in your teeth, and it's just a pain.
Okay.
Wait, pause. I've never heard anyone say that a day in my life.
Neither have I.
Well, when you're eating popcorn, it's like mostly air.
He starts burping.
The way I eat popcorn, I'm just like I take off the non-kernel stuff, just the pop stuff, and I chew on that, and then I eat the rest of it.
Okay, well, we'll discuss that another day.
I
feel like you're not eating popcorn. I feel like you're not eating it right, but that's a whole nother episode.
Yeah, chips all the way. Chips all the way.
For me?
Chips.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, I like
hot Funyuns.
I like hot Funyuns and Cheetos Puffs, and I guess they're chips. I don't know. When I think of a chip, I'm thinking of like Lay's or Doritos. But I guess Cheetos and Funyuns fall under the chip category.
Pretzels count as chips, I'm sure, classified.
Yeah, if you
I don't even know about pretzels.
The pretzel sticks, yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, beach or mountains?
Beach for her.
Okay, mountains for Jerry.
Yes, correct. I love elevation.
Well, you like camping.
I do like camping.
I feel like mountains is more.
We have mountains in Texas.
I feel like
Texas.
I feel like mountains is more his camping scenery.
It is, and she's beach all the way. She's sunscreen every 30 minutes.
Oh, do you wear sunscreen? Oh, I guess you have to wear sunscreen.
Yes, every day.
Everyone should have to wear
sunscreen. 365 days a year.
Should be the law.
Reapply every 2 hours as long as the sun is up.
Sun is not your friend. Are you saying you don't wear sunscreen, Mallory? Is that what you're?
I think I put on sunscreen once in my life.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
maybe.
Have you seen those videos where they do like an infrared and showing like sun damage underneath the skin? Ooh, that will change your whole perspective
The
on.
sun permanently damages your collagen and your DNA, and the sun is what ages you the quickest.
Don't I have like protection?
I'm sure that's a myth.
Yes,
Wait.
but there's two different types of UV rays. There's UVA and there's UVB. So UVB is what burns you, which I'm sure
B for burn.
you may have never gotten burned a day in your life because of all the melanin that
yes.
the extra melanin
Right.
you have.
That's right.
But there's UVA rays that age you. So even when you're not burning, you're still getting those UVA rays that are aging you. So that's why sunscreen 365 days a year, reapply every 2 hours so long as the sun's out.
For any science appreciators out there, UVA rays are longer wavelengths, so they actually penetrate deeper in the skin, whereas where that collagen, not epidermis, but the dermis level. Are you frozen, Mallory? Oh, okay. Well,
No.
Okay, next this or that.
Fascinating. Okay. Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Christmas. Wait, for Jerry.
no, on Thanksgiving.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I guessed wrong. I didn't even guess. I just said what I wanted.
Your Thanksgiving?
No, I said
your
I
Christmas.
Christmas.
I would have guessed that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
I wouldn't have. I don't know what I would.
She's.
I feel like I don't know.
You're definitely a gift receiver. She's
Well,
like, I want all
I
the
like
gifts.
all the pretty lights
yeah.
and the coziness of Christmas time. I don't know what I would have guessed for you.
Is Christmas your favorite holiday?
I don't know.
You want to know mine?
April Fool's.
Your birthday?
My birthday.
I know. I
Wait,
guessed
what's her birthday? Wait, is this personal information that you don't want on the air?
Oh, no. November 29th. If you want to mail me something, you can't. No, I'm just cash at me. November 29th.
What holiday is that?
My birthday.
Her birthday.
I thought your birthday was on a holiday.
She's being literal.
Oh, holiday. Okay. Well, if they don't give your birthday off for work, then you better sue.
I won't be showing up that day.
A holiday.
So.
Okay, I was gonna guess for you Christmas because you have an appreciation for Christmas lights and decoration. But then I know you also enjoy cooking.
Yes, I
so
love
then
leftovers.
There's Thanksgiving. So I don't know what I would have.
The best part of Thanksgiving is the day after when you're having turkey soup, having turkey sandwiches, warming up the mashed potatoes, making mashed potato pancakes. Yes.
Okay,
Mallory knows what I'm talking about. If you know what I'm talking about, mashed potato pancakes. Oh yeah, you just throw a little starch or cornstarch in there, and yep. Sorry.
Sometimes, if we have like leftover potato salad from something, my dad will make them out of potato salad.
Ew.
No, it's actually really good.
Sounds good to me.
You said ew. It's actually really good. He'll like throw it on the pan, somehow get them all to stay together, and it's actually like not bad.
I think you should put this on the Instagram, this or that, and see what your listeners and followers say, because that'd be interesting.
Okay, next this or that.
Okay, let's see. Audiobook or a hard book?
She is
an audiobook. She really listens to podcasts.
I listen to way too many podcasts to make time for an audiobook, but I'll go with wait. I'm picking for you.
Yeah.
Melanie, you keep saying for yourself.
I'm gonna go with neither for Jerry.
That was the exact answer I was gonna say. I don't read, and if I'm reading anything, it's like news articles, or informational videos.
That's not good. Do you not like to? You just don't like reading for fun?
I know it's a habit that I can have. I know I can do it. I know there's some. I've been keeping some books. I'm like, oh wow, I love the concept, or not the concept.
He keeps buying more books and like never reading them. So.
Well, do you read the entire textbooks from your classes? You know, come on. You're not gonna. Well, yeah, I will admit that reading was not my strongest suit, but if I were to do a book,
okay,
you can admit it. Okay. Let me think of two more.
Okay.
Let's see. A fun this or that.
Pineapples on pizza?
Ew. I don't even. Snow, summer or winter?
Cheese, summer.
I was gonna go with summer for you.
Whatever. Well, I was fall. I'm more of a fall person, but that's close.
That's what I was thinking more like, because you really enjoy going camping.
That's camping weather.
Like, yeah.
Summer is way too hot in Texas.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's way too hot when it's summertime, but then it's like, but you can go to the public pools, you can go to the beach, like.
Oh, I have a question. Do you have to pay to go to the beaches in Texas?
No, we have public beaches by law. In our state constitution, all beaches are public access, except for the ones that are bought by a certain billionaire that's launching rockets on the south tip of Texas.
Scary.
But what about isn't there like national parks? Like,
oh yeah,
like, don't you have to pay?
Oh, is that what you were talking about?
I was just asking because in New Jersey, you have to pay to go to the beach. In North Carolina, you don't, but in New Jersey, you have to pay to go to the beach. Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
What we do have, Mallory, and those listening, if you ever come visit the great country of Texas, we actually drive. We have parts of our beaches, where you can actually drive. So we all have trucks down here. We all have like 4-wheel drive. My car's all-wheel drive. But you do have to have a beach permit on your car if you're driving on the beach or if you're parking on the beach. And that's like $12, but it's good for the entire year season. So that's the only thing.
Now I understand. The beach is free, but if you want to drive your vehicle.
Correct.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. People can camp on the beach too.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Free.
Story time. Really quick. Oh, actually, yeah, no, I'll do story time because it's relevant to this topic. When I was in Oman, I met some people trying to like really enjoy the country, and the only way to do that is honestly just to go up and meet strangers. So met this guy, and he took me in a Jeep Wrangler to like these sand dunes, and he like drove really fast, and like he went up hills and down hills, and like he did all this stuff. It was really cool.
Whoa.
That's fun.
Where was this?
Yeah.
Oman?
Oman. So Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
So it's like at the boot of that, right beside Yemen.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really cool. And like it wasn't a beach, it was just like a bunch of sand. And people just come and they like drive their cars going this way and that way. And he had a Jeep Wrangler, but there were people in like trucks and stuff like that. And he's like, yeah, this is just something fun that sometimes people do.
Wow.
Guys, because the girls can't go anywhere, but
Well, if any of your listeners are in Oregon, they might know this, but there are big sand dunes that people take their big dune buggies, and you would think you're in Saudi Arabia. But I've done that when I was young, and it's in Oregon. I think they're like national sand dunes. How far is
Oregon from Seattle?
Pretty far.
They're close. Oregon's right on top of Washington, right?
Right below. It's below it. Yeah, so
Washington, Oregon, California?
Correct.
Oh.
And I think they pronounce it Oregon. Nah, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was
gonna say, I'm from the South. I'm gonna pronounce it how I pronounce it. Oh, interesting. Okay, so if it's far, never mind. I was like, that'd be fun to do for the 2 days. Okay, last one. Let's do coffee or tea.
She's tea.
Jerry, I feel like you're also tea, because I don't think I've ever seen you drink coffee.
Yeah, it's easier to brew. They're in tea bags.
Yeah, I'm definitely tea.
But at my office, they do have like a Keurig, so the convenience of using those single-use things are fun, and they're flavored, like super crazy flavors.
For tea?
No, sorry, for coffee. Oh. But I do prefer tea. She's all about tea. Peppermint tea.
Did you ever get into kombucha, Melanie?
No. I want to start getting into matcha.
I don't know that one.
Green tea.
Is it that green stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I never got into kombucha.
I want you to. It's part. It's like it fits in your aesthetic. So perfect.
Really?
And it's got probiotics.
Yeah.
It's fermented.
That
Yeah,
help
it
your
has-
gut.
Yes. No, it's really good for you. I think you tried mine once, right?
Yeah.
And I maybe because like there's different flavors. You got to find the flavor that you like. And I think you just didn't like the flavor.
I don't know.
But all right.
Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Thanks for playing this and that. Thanks for giving your great opinions on some really great topics. Some interesting topics. I wouldn't say they were great topics. Some of them were kind of sad. Trying to think. Oh, please, everyone, rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends. This podcast is part of a YouTube channel, a blog where our magazine comes out next month. Like we are building something big. We're building community.
Be a part of it.
Yes, and we're all a part of it. Part of the way we're going to help do this and we'll help share and we'll help change culture is if you could also donate. $5 here, $10 there would be very beneficial. We have a donation link in the description and the bio. It's also on our website. And that it will be really great to help with that in any way possible. Like I said, $5 here, $10 there would truly make a difference.
It help pay for the that Spy Kids actor to We Can Fly Her.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That would be amazing. I can go on a tangent on an idea, but we can talk about that later. But yeah, rate, review, subscribe. Okay, bye everybody.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.